All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stylex League, which I've not said that in a while. Anyway, we're on Oregon now. Blue Jays venture against Team Plague on everyone's favorite map, Boregon. I'm here with
We do
Cheesy.
love Oregon. We do love Oregon.
No, okay. You know, we can lie to ourselves and say that we love Oregon. During the map ban phase, we were praying to any higher power that it wouldn't be Oregon, but here we are anyway, on Oregon. Of course, to go with this boring map is a boring ban.
We don't like the Thatch ban first either. Obviously, it's a very mainstay of both older Siege and also modern Siege to see Thatcher being taken off the board first. Normally, we expect some kind of hard breach ban to come along second. And, well, we don't see that. We do see the Finker coming off. Obviously, Finker, very strong operator now more modernly with the LMG and also the change to her ability. But yeah, it's very... Well, I guess that's one more interesting ban than you regularly see.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite... What I find really interesting is just how quickly Finker has shifted into the meta. Like, just a few months ago, you would have never, ever seen a Finker ban, but since the changes, she's become absolutely prominent. And there's another boring ban coming out with the Mirror as well. Of course, you want to remove as much control as Blue Jays can have at the moment on the basement side of defense, mainly because, well, for the other sites, I wouldn't say Finker's as useful. So removing that, it's going to make attacking it a little bit easier. And of course, with the Flora still in play, that's a potential option for them if they want to push elbow.
Well, I think Kaid as the final ban is obviously very strong, and especially for Blue Jays took their way themselves. Maybe they don't plan to use it in any of their strats, but Kaid is obviously very strong for this map, especially in particular. The very strong ways that he can be used in multiple ways, especially in areas like Attic and other areas around the basement as well. He's a very strong operator on this map, particularly because of the way that the walls are placed around the map, especially with the ways you can use it vertically as well on some of these walls. And a very interesting thing that we see already from Blue Jays is we're picking up the Alibi and the Malusi, two operators that have not necessarily fallen off in recent times, but they're no longer as seen as they used to be, especially in the case of Alibi. He's never really been that prolific in Siege.
Yeah, I mean, even in Pro League, you rarely ever see the Alibi pick. I'd say the most prominent player who we do see play Alibi is most likely Spoit for Rogue at the moment, as well as, if anyone knows Spoit, a ranked gunner turned pro player, and I mean, he's carried that over quite well. But, I mean, so yeah, he's the only person that I've really seen play Alibi full stop, so let's just see what the side of Blue Jays can make with this, of course. Shep, can he follow in those footsteps? A very interesting setup coming in for the side of Blue Jays as well, now opening up one of the closet walls. Now, you don't really see that too often, I'd say.
Well, yeah, I think that's a fairly old style setup. I think that was very much popularised by APAC back in the day, where you essentially open that up, you play your smoke around there, and you try and delay as much time as possible. I think it's somewhat similar to Blue on the basement side, when you're going to be obviously falling back and trying to reinforce that wall, if they have got a wall left open, which I believe they do. So we're going to see very much a congestion of this kind of trophy area of the map, trying to stop them from coming in towards bedroom, but that does leave them very weak to a west side take, where we've normally seen a lot of teams go from big window, or attic rather. So we're going to see an attack like that, and there's already one kill that's gone into the favour of the attacking side, catching up with the roamers.
Yeah, beautiful play with the Nook there, of course, using that ability to sneak the way up and get the first pick. Of course, that's Shanga. And he may find a second for his troubles now as he sees the player, and here it is. There we go. Chep has fallen as well. The Alibi is proven to have no impact just yet, and of course, a 3 versus 5 now, and they're in quite a sticky situation already with just a minute now depleted from the clock, and quite scattered as well. We do see the members of Blue Jays as they're trying to take some gunfights, trying to pull some picks back. Nothing happening just yet, of course, and there's so much time for the side of Plague to play with, and there's another pick found, and oh no, we're seeing Cassie now play at the top of the stairs, pulling a Canadian. Can he find anything? But no, it seems like Dent elsewhere is going to find a pick, and now we have seen Cassie rotate round, but now he's in a 1 versus 4.
Well, they're having to play very aggressively to try and get any kind of pick back, and that just means they've completely vacated the site. They find one kill there, and he's been lit up by multiple other angles. He's managed to find himself a somewhat safe place to play, but with 3 enemies who are all coming towards his position, there's nothing that he can do, and he does fall down. But that round essentially just fell apart because all the roamers either lost their gunfights or were just completely oblivious to the way that the attackers were trying to clear the map from that first floor downwards. And it wasn't necessarily a west side take, but it was definitely something... a more vertical style of take, where they went underneath and they tried to take away those roamers and then come up from after that, and it worked very well against the defenders.
Yeah, and I mean, it seemed like they had not adequate enough information about the attackers' locations as well, and what control they had taken Of course, as we saw, one of the members of Blue Jays just try to take control of Z without knowing that there was a player there. Of course, he's slow peeking, but even still, if you know that one of your players has died around that area, I don't think slow peeking or even contesting at that point is the best option. Of course, yes, you want to get a refrag, but if it becomes too dangerous, I'd say the best option there is to fall back, and of course that's not what happened, and well, in the end it would cost him the round, so something that I've not really been expecting too much to see such a dominant first round from Plague, but I mean, there's still plenty more rounds for Blue Jays to put on the board, of course, having 5 more rounds on their defensive half.
Yeah. Well, I think that also they're not playing this kind of like structured way that they've been, well, at least from what I've observed of them to be playing in the past few play days. It seems that for Plague, they're obviously a very aggressive team. They've got a lot of players who are very much part of this like entry/flex style. Whilst we do see some operators of the supporting variety in like the Ace and somewhat the Maverick as well, most of these players on Plague are very aggressive and they like to take their gunfights. So I think a structured playstyle for Blue Jays would be best to try and counter that. But we saw in that first round, they weren't playing very structuredly as soon as the Roam was taken apart. I think that if the Roam manages to fall back and manages to take away utility from the attack, then we will see a structured playstyle that does counter them. But for the moment, that's not what we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, well, it'll now continue as well. Dent is falling for Blue Jays once again. That's another entry frag coming in on the side of Plague, and can they find a second? Yes, they can. There's a beautiful pick coming in from Dining towards, once again, Chep on the alibi. Second time now he's fallen, playing that operator and finding no value. It seems like it's deja vu once again. In a 3 versus 5, we've just a minute off the clock. What is going on for Blue Jays so far? I'm not too sure. Once again, though, we're seeing Cassie now playing inside the trophy, waiting for them to enter into Master Bedroom. He's still playing quite aggressively. He has that Aruna Gate as well as 2 ADSs and his teammate there, Seri, to support, but the drone's gone out, found his location. The pre-fire's going to come in. Will it find anything? No, is the answer just yet. But Breach is open. They've got so many angles to push in and so much time left on the board, and there's another pick coming in for the side of Plague, and once again, we're seeing Blue Jays just absolutely fall apart.
Exactly, and with 1 minute 30 on the clock now, it's managed to go down to a 2 versus 4. It looks like they have got some control over the bomb site itself, but the round's just falling apart as soon as the roamers get caught off guard. There's one person just sitting in attic. His only fallback route's down the stairs. They open up the window, and he just gets taken apart every single round. That's happened in the first 2 rounds here, as the attacks try and get in towards the bomb site. They do walk into the crossfire, and it's now down to a 2 versus 2 with the Tachanka and the Aruni left on the board. They do have control of Trophy, and they do have the Twitch downstairs. It depends whether they can use this sort of control in like a secondary zone of an extension towards the bomb site to even get in. They need to find a pick, and they need to also reclaim the bomb, which is down towards the white stairs.
Oh, beautiful little pick there coming in for the side of Blue Jays. A nice little angle being held. Silently finds one, bringing it to what was a 5 versus 2, now to a 1 versus 2. It's all on Shanga now, 2 players to find. Like you said, doesn't have the diffuser in his hand as well. Yes. Well, there is a drone situated somewhere, but he has none himself, which is going to be quite troublesome, of course. He's just going to have to face check all of these angles, and he's just going for a quick peek, trying to see if anyone will peek him, but no, there's a deployable camera in his way, which is going to try to dispose of, but miss his shots on, and 30 seconds left, and what seemed like a beautiful round coming in for the side of Team Plague is all of a sudden falling apart, so something shouldn't really be happening there, because of course, you have 5 players, you have this map control, and you're just letting it slip apart by face-checking people and losing your gunfights. 15 seconds, he's going to have to push his way in now. Nothing being found just yet. It seems like it's quite perilous, of course, with the cross angles that we can see the members of Blue Jays hold. The spray's coming in from behind the bed. Will he find the pick? Yes, he can. Can he find the second as he's going to go prone? But no, he's situated in the corner next to the bomb, and he seems like he's going to be going for the pick. And will he find it? No, he won't. Oh, yes, he did, but it was a trade.
So, of course, a very big round. A very big end to that round there. But the reason why the 5 players just couldn't get into the bomb site was, yeah, they were playing a bit more aggressively. They were very much just not necessarily trying to send it, but there were members just going in alone towards the bomb site, trying to get as much control as deep into the bomb site as possible. Whereas with Blue Jays, the final 2 who were left on the bomb site, including the Tachanka, were very much just playing in these strong anchoring roles on the first zones of each of the bomb site, very much power positions. And by playing in that structured way, they managed to essentially dismantle Plague, because they just peeked every single angle and essentially tried to win each gunfight. And by playing in these power positions, it really does counter that. But yeah, very powerful, a very explosive end to that round, and it does mean that Blue Jays get on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, just to add what you said as well, just beautiful positioning for the members of Blue Jays as well, just being there to support each other, being there to hold every single possible angle we could have seen Plague push from, and well, it worked out in their favour in the end with a nice little trade at the end coming in. And, well, now 1-1-1. But of course, I'd still say Plague at the moment are playing as a better team when they are actually structured. Well, there isn't much structure to come to them in the first place, but when they're getting these entrance frags, they're doing quite well. It's just late round, they start to fall apart, they get over-aggressive, they over-peak things that they shouldn't really over-peak, and it has cost them a round so far.
Yeah, definitely has. But one thing to pick up on this prep phase as well is the fact that we're seeing like an array of utility, let's say. But on the defensive side, we're seeing a Mozzie who's obviously trying to decrease the drone game, but we're not seeing a Mute alongside him. We have Jaeger or Mai, obviously, the two of the utility operators, and without an Aruni as well. It's very much just like we've got these different arrays of utility to be played in different positions. They're very much playing a positional style in this defense, where obviously you send some people out to run, but you play the best operator to play your best position, which is very much an old G2 style from back in the day. And we're going to see that play come out with the roam game as well.
Yeah, I mean, Nitro just got thrown out, didn't manage to find anything, of course, and, well, now you want Nitro Cell down when, well, that was the only one you had in the pocket in the first place, and of course with no impacts on the board as well, which is going to mean it's going to be a little bit more difficult to potentially move any of these hard breach utility that may get placed onto blue, but of course, with only having the Hibana, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're going to see now entry frag potentially coming in, as Eggy's now contesting Chep. He's going to go for the pre-fire, but the drone is now on him, and he's going to have to rotate back around to the site and stay alive for a little bit longer. Grenade's going to go out. Not managing to find anything, of course, as he is now situated quite deep inside, but no, he goes for a re-peek, and that's the first pick of the round. For the first time ever, coming in the favour of Blue Jays, and of course Chep, well, he's done his job, he's found that pick, and now he's retreated back to the site after the round's been depleted, and of course, not much progress being made for the side of Plague so far.
And the reason why that is because the defenders aren't just giving themselves up. They're not taking these aggressive gunfights that they were on the top floor bomb site. I think they've got a better read on this bomb site in terms of how to play it, how you need to be playing in these positions. Look at the 5 positions they're in right now. They all cross over with each other, and they're all exactly where you want to be. Yeah, you've given up control of Freezer there, but there's nobody going towards Freezer anymore. Once that Iana has fallen down, I think they've got a read on that, where they don't need to really contest Freezer at the moment. There is going to be somebody lurking down there, which I believe was Sledge over there. But what they've done is they've essentially fallen back into these positions, and they've not given their lives up, which is very well played by them. We'll see whether this comes to fruition in the final 50 seconds.
Yeah, once again, just the really good map knowledge and the teamwork coming in for them. As like you said, they're holding such nice angles, but it seems like Dent's, he's going to be playing the aggressor at the moment, moving his way up those tower stairs and see if he can find a pick for his worries. But no, not just yet, of course, and now they're situated in Freezer, but 30 seconds left on the clock. They've not got much time to play with here. And of course, choke point in Freezer now, but they've got the angles into the site. Will they find anything for their worries? No, nothing been found just yet, but of course the spray onto Siri does lose quite a large chunk of his HP, but still one toxic canister in his pocket. He'll want to save that for later on, as the final push is now coming in, when the pick comes out for the side of Blue Jays, but a refrag is there straight away. But it seems like they're all falling in favour of Blue Jays at the moment. It's all on Chenga now, playing inside of Freezer. He finds 2, but can he find the third of the player playing just outside of Freezer? But no, he can't, and Blue Jays secure yet another round.
And that is the reason why you can't mainly go through Freezer, because there's so many different angles that can just pick you off from every which way. Well, they do send some people through towards the main area, down from the main door. However, they've sent most of their manpower through Freezer, and they haven't even managed to open the Freezer wall to a point where you can even get through it. So I don't support that play where they've essentially called off the entire contestation of both Blue and the back stairs. They've sent so many people through Freezer and the main door when they haven't been prioritizing those areas and getting rid of the utility there and also the viewpoints. So I think that was kind of a misplay from the attack there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such a choke point as well. Because of course, like you said, they hadn't opened any of that wall, so they have to funnel their way through the Freezer door potentially. And of course, with the angles that we saw being placed onto Freezer, so of course the defenders can contest it. If there was a player on the bomb chassis as well, that's just even more troubles for them, because, well, having to check every single angle, and like you said, there's just so many angles that they have to take account for, and, well, it's just not a great play for them, is all I can say, really.
Yeah. The way you normally orchestrate like a main stairs and Freezer take is, well, you obviously have to prioritize it. You're obviously opening up the hatch and all that and getting down. But it's very much a pick-based execute, where either you've made the picks around Blue and then don't push it, or you make the picks in those areas and then it's a very swift execute you have to make. You can't do it late round, and that round there showed you exactly why, because the defense still had the infrastructure there and the utility there to be able to hold it off. And we'll see how the attack now are trying to approach this new bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, of course, an interesting thing that we have to pick up on there is Shenga. He's now switched on to the Dokkaebi, which not really an operator you see too much, of course, but those phone calls can cause quite a lot of trouble for the side of Blue Jays later on in the round, of course, is you really want to be clearing this roam, you really want to be just locating these defenders and picking them off, of course, sending a player like Eggy in here on the entry frag, and I mean, he's starting to move his way up the shower corridor, of course, as the drones are coming in. No one to be found there, of course, just yet. And it seems like Dent's going to be going for quite an aggressive angle here, trying to find a player potentially at that big window. No one's going to be there at the moment, but the first pick comes in once again. It's for the side of the Blue Jays. Chep doing work, but the refrag is going to come in as he's found his way up the white stairs with no congestion, no info, no nothing. It's not looking too great for them as Cassie now, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place with no help, but I mean, he manages to find one, but can he find a second? But no, there's no one else contesting him at the moment as he's sitting quite comfortably.
Well, I think obviously now that the Azami falls, but it's very much that they're playing these roams as solo players, and that's why yet another member of their team goes down. They're all playing these three positions, which are meant to be played in a connected style, by themselves. They're not deciding to play together. They've been taking their gunfights as individuals. They've not been cross-firing or anything like that, and that's why these two anchors have been left yet again to try and clutch up the round. And they have managed to get it back to a 2 versus 2 if the Dokkaebi unfortunately does get picked up. Does fall. So it's a 2 versus 3 with a minute left on the clock, and the utility, the walls are going to start to fall around the bomb site. It looks like they're going to go for a kitchen side execute.
Yes, it seems like it's going to be quite a difficult one for them, of course, with the holes being held from above as well. But of course, the only thing that they can use to open up any more is the breaching charges on the ace. But of course, he is at the moment situated inside of dining, so I don't think that's going to come to fruition. And I mean, it looks winnable, I'd say. Blue Jays have a chance, but of course, with this LMG above, the LMGE absolutely raining hellfire from above, it's going to be quite difficult, of course. But we're now seeing them hold a little bit more passive angles, waiting for the attackers to swing into their lines of sight, but never mind, as Sanity's going to go for an aggressive peek. I mean, time's now ticking once again. We're going to see the LMGs and the SMG sprays coming in. A beautiful almost pick from Siri there, but he's getting contested now, but one gets found for Sanity, but 2 versus 1 now. You've got the SMG, which isn't really great for these long-range engagements, so he's not really in the greatest spot. He's going to go for a rotate. He's still on full HP as well, so he can take quite a few bullets here playing behind the shield. The plant's going to be going down. Can he do anything to stop it? He's going to get sprayed up, going to go for the C4 launch to try and take out this Zephyr, but no, that's not going to happen, and of course the plant's down. Needs 7 seconds to defuse.
It's now a post-plant situation, 40 seconds left, and can we see whether he can retake to where the bomb is? The attackers are in very good positions to be able to hold off this attack. All they need to do is just peek at the right times when they hear the bomb. They don't have to play too aggressively like the Dokkaebi is doing now. He's landed a few shots onto Sanity to see whether he can get anything done in this round. It is now a 1 versus 1, a beautiful pick found there. Reloading his SMG while peeking means that he does get taken down. But that just shows that once the bomb goes down on a site like Kitchen, the retake is impossible.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that, just because there's just very minimal areas the defenders can now push from, because of course if you've got more than one member alive, you can have just an insane cross angle being held on all fronts. Because of course, you're only really 2 options to get to that diffuser, is either to flank around the security hallway, or, well, go straight through the site. And either way, you've got someone holding that angle. You've got someone playing passive, you've got drones, you've got anything to stop you there. So yeah, like you said, it's pretty much impossible to retake that if you're in a losing situation.
And also the SMG-11 thing that the mute's using, it's not favoured to the angles that he was trying to play there. Either from peeking through green or from peeking through the shield that looks towards Kitchen. It very much wasn't angles favoured towards the gun, and it was unfortunate that he was obviously playing that operator as they were trying to use it, because he's very strong towards that meeting side with all the angles that he can see through that. They're very much favoured towards his SMG-11 combo, but as soon as he's having to peek towards Kitchen, it's not the role that it's being put on. And he's unfortunately ended up having to take gunfights. So he's not favoured for. He did very well to take it to a 1 versus 1, but he couldn't clutch out the round in its entirety. And now we're going to see yet again the defenders go towards the top floor now, round 5.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if they can hold this successfully this time around. We're going to see it there. Drone or I do believe that's Casey get taken out there, but it seems like they're going to be going for the same style of push again. This quite aggressive take of small tower, move your way up right stairs, take control of the first floor, and then work your way from there. But it just depends. Can they get another entry frag? And I'm not sure if that's going to be the case this time, as I don't really think that they have any roamers this time around, or anyone playing on an aggressive roam at least. But no, yeah, they do have roamers downstairs, but once again, the first pick coming in for this side of Plague, and Chep is now all alone inside the security. Yes, he has rotates out, but I mean, that can work for the side of Plague as well, as, well, they can use these rotates as well. We're going to see a claim will get placed to, of course, limit Chep's rotate out as well, and he's going to go for quite an aggressive angle here, trying to get a cheeky little peek, but not finding anything just yet. And now his location is most likely known as well. The drone's going to confirm that, but a pick does get found for the side of the Blue Jays, but he's still in quite a difficult situation. I don't know how he's going to do this.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think Dent was again playing very solo inside a kitchen. The only rotate they have is into the security office where Chep is right now. He's got no way out, and he's got no way to even be a favoured in any kind of gunfight that he takes. Siri goes down, in fact, towards the actual bomb site itself, and now members are falling as anchors on the actual bomb site itself. Once Chep does eventually get collapsed on, it's going to be a 2 versus 4, and, well, maybe to an extent if they're lucky, a 2 versus 3, but still obviously a way that they have like a disadvantage inside of this round, as he's going to get swung inside the security office in no time at all. A 3 versus 3 now, actually, as the pick is found on towards the bomb site itself. It looks like Shankar, he's the only one there who's watching over. He's the only one watching there over Chep, and he doesn't know that Chep has to rotate out, and Chep doesn't know that he can actually manage to get out of that area.
No.
He wins that gunfight somehow, and with a minute left, it's now to a 3 versus 2. The round's on his head.
I'm really confused as to why Lex has decided to rotate out there and not support his teammate to take out Chep downstairs. Of course, if you know he's there, you need to really dispose of him, not send a man on his own. And well, Chris is going to go down as well, leaving it all on Lex on this master window. Of course, with his LMG, 150 rounds in his magazine, so he can put up quite a fight. I'd say he's one of the best operators to have in this situation, but I mean, 35 seconds. I'm not sure if he's got the diffuser even. No, he does not, which is going to be really difficult for him, especially when we're seeing Blue Jays holding once again these cross angles. He's going to be pushing his way up the white stairs now, the Malusi Gadget, to reveal his location to all the remaining Blue Jays members, and, well, it seems like he's in quite a difficult situation. Of course, he's going to have to go for the frags at this point, it seems to be the case, but no, he's just going to be holding on, watching an angle, which is not really the play you really want to be doing, and, well, there we have it. A nice little double peek there, and the bailiff to find the final pick of the round. I don't think I've actually ever seen a kill with that gun.
Well, yeah, not very recently, at least. Well, especially with how much Maestro and Alibi have both fallen off in terms of recent months in Siege. But again, like the round really relies on you being able to clear out that roam fully, because if they're going to go for a vertical style of play there, where they are going to be playing below with some holes looking upwards, you have to take those operators out, because that really does diminish the effectiveness of your west side push. Because if they're not taken out, then they can use that verticality to go against your big window take, and also through the effects on the areas like the white stairs, which you really need to be able to orchestrate and execute that kind of a push. If you're going for, they're essentially trying to push all of these different areas on the top floor, and then not like securing their roam clear, which they were looking very good on that roam clear. They had the drones in there, they had him cut off on 2 different angles. If you just send one more person there, you get that pick, and then you're in a 4 versus 2, and you're going to win the round.
Exactly, and I mean, that just adds to my point of why would you rotate Lex out? It's just, again, it cost them the round. I'm going to stand by that fact. I mean, because as we saw them get a really early pick onto, I do believe it was Dent playing inside of the kitchen. So why not double up then? You've droned him out. Send a player through kitchen, send a player through security. There's no way, unless he's some sort of god, that he can flick around and kill both of you.
There's definitely a strategic weakness for Blue Jays on that side, but we are unfortunately not going to see that side. I'm going to try and break it down fully for you. As we already see the first kill coming out for Blue Jays, playing very aggressively there, and he does actually manage to punish the Ying. However, he does get punished himself by the Buck, who then gets punished again by Chep. This roam here, they've actually started playing together. They had these people in these different crossfires, and they were able to execute, unlike with the other bomb site, where they're all playing very much by themselves. Again, they haven't got the rotates and everything, and they do find yet another kill, as it's already a 4 versus 2 within a minute of the round going out. And it's all down to Twitch and Zofia, who are both around this first floor hallway, as all 4 of the defenders manage to get back onto the site. They've got all the utility that they need, And this round is looking very much Blue Jays favoured as we head into the half.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, looking at the remaining members of Plague, there's not too much, well, not really the utility you want to be having. Of course, yes, you have a Twitch who can obviously use those joints to get rid of these gadgets that the defenders are holding by. Of course, mainly being these landmine magnets, the ADSs, and the Thunderbird devices as well. And yes, you've got Zofia, but with only one left in the pocket, and I do believe it's probably going to be a concussion. Not really much can be made, but well, it seems like that may be a wrong fact, as he manages to find one, but of course they're still in this deficit, this man deficit, and I mean, half the round is still yet to play with, but Kane tucked away in the corner, but it seems like Dent may know of his location. The drone's going to be coming out to try locate the members of Blue Jays. He finds one, but will he be able to collect the kill as well? No, he won't, as we see a flank coming in there, and it's now all on Lex. Inside a freezer, 3 men to find, and it's not looking too hopeful.
Well, he's about to get flanked from Freezer as well, and he does go down, but surely I think for the Twitch, if you find that pick there, then surely you know that in accordance to where they're going to be playing in the power positions, you have to try and get towards that bomb site there. As I said already, you have to go for a very quick take if you're going to be trying to get through that area of the bomb site so that these positions do not get refilled by the defenders. And whilst you did find that one pick there, it's just 2 rotates came out and it completely nullified the ability of this take. And then as soon as one of the members flanks from the area around backstairs where he was originally playing, that round just goes from that. It just keeps getting worse as the rounds go on, because these 2 players very much have to lurk to try and find their picks to get back into the round. And whilst they have gone to different areas like Freezer and the main door area, it just doesn't go well for them when they aren't playing to execute aggressively in that style when you're in a deficit. But we're going to see the next half now as Team Plague go onto the defensive side, and they do play a somewhat similar lineup. However, with the Goy on the mute, they are a very interesting combo, especially when you place your mute jammers behind those. Well, they're no longer shields anymore, actually, but you can still hide your mute jammers away with those, with the ability. But I think that it's very much going to be the mutes are going to be put in all these different entry areas to try and deny the drone access towards the bomb site. We do see that already. Shield coming out, so it's going to be a very usual setup actually, alongside obviously the somewhat anomaly of the Goyo.
Yeah, I mean, as well, I'm just going to add to the fact that they brought the Goyo. I find Goyo to be such an interesting operator since his recent change, of course, because he can be so powerful, but also he can be so, well, unimpactful, let's just say. I mean, because of course, with his fire used, that these Vulcan canisters, well, spread, it lasts so long. So it obviously can deny an area for an extended amount of time, but it seems like Alex is going to be going for an aggressive play here, trying to find a pick on the player throwing the grenade up, but that's not going to be the case. He doesn't manage to find anything for it. But of course, interesting, on the side of Blue Jays, they brought the glass, which of course, you're not really seeing him too often, but I mean, what is going on?
Well, I think the glass is very strong for Attic. You essentially just post yourself up on these stairs, and you are going to win every single engagement from that area. You're so favoured when you're peeking from those stairs, even when they've got Attic double stacked. You're still going to be winning these gunfights, as Eggy does actually fall to one of the frag grenades from the glass, and there's another pick on the bomb site. Once this glass manages to get in, this round is over, and it's going to go to a 4 versus 3 with around 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, 4 versus 2 now. Make it 4 versus 1 as Sanity collects one more, and it's all on now. Shenga playing this mute. Of course, SMG-11, not really the gun that you want to be using, especially when he's got a shotgun as well, but he manages to find one. That's the player going for the defuse, and can he find a second? Potentially, but no, not just yet. He's losing most of his HP. He's going to be using that C4 to give himself another rotate inside a master bedroom. But I mean, it seems like quite a difficult situation for him now that the defuse is down as well. 40 seconds, of course, is... well, how long he has? Well, less than that, of course, as you still need to defuse the bomb. Going to be swinging this with his shotgun, it seems. And he's trying to pick, but no, he's going to be the answer just yet. But, well, they know his location now, and he's going to be going for a rotate. Potentially finding one on a different angle. But, I mean, at this point, like you said, the glass is still up. A super powerful gun, 1 bullet is all we need to take him out. Well, that's the case for most of these attackers. It doesn't look like it's going to be going well for the side of Plague. And, well, there we have it. My answer is correct, and Blue Jays pick up a really convincing round there.
Even if the site didn't get stormed there, if you're going to be playing it very slowly, like the side of Blue Jays would have been if Team Plague managed to obviously not find themselves getting picked off throughout the bomb site. It was very much a catch-all take where there were some people heading towards bedroom, 2 people towards that attic side, and then one very much just lurking around the rest of the map. And even if that round went slower than it normally than it did there, like it normally does, we would have seen the glass very much be a huge pressure towards Attic. Obviously a very long angle, and you're favoured so much peeking from those stairs. And it would also complement the execute as well, where you can post up at the attic areas whilst you're pushing in towards the bomb site, and he is a very good operator in takes that execute around those areas. However, you are obviously sacrificing utility in order to bring him, and that does go well when obviously the defense are bringing people like Alibi and Goyo and all that towards the defense. But if they brought a very much utility-based setup, then you would have seen that round probably play out very differently for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'd expect that to be the case as well, and I mean, once again, to bring in that glass, but the really interesting thing I see is, of course, yeah, you can bring frag grenades on glass, and of course it allows you to play that more entry fragging role, but his whole deal is to have smokes and to have this thermal sight get utilised. But I mean, a lot of the case now, for many of the casts that I've done and I've seen him, a lot of players don't decide to go for that route. They seem to just want to hold these angles like you've said, and with that powerful marksman rifle as well, just find some early picks, and it seems like that's really his playstyle at the moment. So his gadget is quite useless other than giving you a large magnification.
Yeah, and the fact that he's got a really strong gun, and I'm surprised that he did not die there. If he didn't have the nitro sell out Lex, then he would have managed to find the kill there. He's going to run away and be safe. I think that's a very smart decision to fall back. But essentially, he's got such a strong gun that you may as well just pick it. It's essentially just Carly before Carly became useless. As we see her 4v5 already, with the knock being taken off of the board already. The knock's actually a very interesting pick as well, alongside this glass. Obviously, you are going to be bringing the frag grenades on that operator, but you're very much a lurking operator, and that does not suit well when the defenders know exactly where you're coming from, or at least are aware of that positioning. You don't want to be too quick with knock. You want to be that lurking style that you see in normally other games like CSGO, where you play quite slowly in this early round, and you look for the time when the defenders are obviously taken up with other members on your team. But Knock taking the first engagement there does fall down. It's a 3 versus 5 now. And Lex, he manages to find that pick there. He does get countered though to get to a 2 versus 4 situation. It's not looking good for the attack, but the round count at the moment does beg to differ in terms of the match as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 versus 4, and I mean, at this point, the glass isn't really the operator you want to be having. Making it a 1 versus 4, it's all on them. All with this glass. Can he prove me wrong and get the picks that he needs to? It seems like, yes, he can find one, but still 3 more members to find. The pings are coming out for one of the members, and he finds a second. He's going for the ace here, but no, the swing comes out for one of the members of Plague, and, well, that Alibi that we've seen get picked quite often finally gets a pick, it seems.
Well, it would have been legendary if he managed to find all of those kills there. It would have been the greatest play we've ever seen in Stylix. But
I probably would have got memed for saying that he wouldn't win, and if he won that, so I'm quite content with the fact that he didn't win.
Would have been a very funny meme, though. But we're going to see him picked yet again by Den. I think that I think Blue Jays have got a read on Plague that they're bringing this mismatch of utility. Yeah, they've got the Walmart and the Jaeger, but you don't necessarily need everything to be able to clear that kind of utility out. And the Malusi, there's not necessarily like loads of traps and all these other bits of utility that you need to be taking out with these utility denial operators you normally see on the attack. So it allows them to pick operators like Glaz and Knock. But one thing I definitely want to see with this Knock pick is not being one of the first people to take an engagement. Yeah, you obviously want to be able to enter onto the map. You have got the FMG, which is quite strong at a short range, which is obviously where you want to be entering with Knock. But on a bomb site like this basement, I think you very much should center as a late lurking entry towards main and freezer, and go for this kind of blue style take, as we do see some elements of utility by Plague towards blue and the back stairs. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily like completely strong. They have obviously opened up the electrical, I believe, electrical with the peak there. It's a very default take, default setup. But I want to see a kind of blue backstairs emphasis in this take, and have the Knock lurk roam essentially.
So the thing is with Nook as well, I'd say especially for this map, just as a whole, I don't think she's as impactful as, well, other maps, because of course very limited places you can push from on this basement side, and as well considering how many angles the defenders can hold with these head holes that they've got, it's quite difficult. But of course they can be used in reverse, so we could see the Nook come into a decent play later on. It seems like Shanga's going to be playing the aggressor at the moment, waiting for that drone. He manages to find that. He's going to go for another peek. Not managed to find anything just yet. However, he does have the support of his teammate there, Lex, but it seems like they're both going to decide to fall back and save their lives, of course. And big tower now getting taken for the side of Blue Jays. They're making decent progress in relatively quick time, and it seems like, well, this time we're not seeing the Nut gets. Obviously, we're not seeing the Nut get stayed on. We're seeing the Yana instead at the moment, and it seems like Lex is also going to be playing quite aggressively with this very interesting hollow site, I must say.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think that the Rome game for this, they were obviously very much extended towards tower, and when you see them pressuring the first floor there, you obviously do have to get out on the second floor as well, unless you want to play your life there. But the Rome, very much at this moment, is going to be looking for a way to manage to flank the other members on this attack, as it goes down to a 4 versus 4, and the Ying is already in towards the bomb site. She managed to find a pick in towards blue, and it goes down to a 4 versus 3. 3 versus 3 now, as another pick has gone off towards the other side of the bomb site with the SMG. But how much can this Ying get done now that she's managed to get towards the bomb site and has some element of control towards the blue and pillar area? She managed to pick off this Thunderbird, which she's very close to doing. Oh! She did not manage to find it, and it goes down to a 2 versus 3 as the glass does get lit up. He managed to find the kill with the bearing 9, and they have got an element of control, but this Jaeger is now on the flank, obviously with the questionable hollow sight. He should be able to fall down very soon and be able to find the picks. It goes down to a 2 versus 1. He's the only remaining hope for Plague in this part of the round. A 1 versus 1 it goes down to, but does he know that the Yana is around this blue side? The blue trap does obviously go off, and he might have some element of understanding as he sits in this supply closet as to where the Iana is. He's going to rotate around towards the corridor, and he's going to look to play retake on the B bomb site. Some shots go wayward, and there's 40 seconds now for Giannis to be able to take down this Jaeger if she finds the right way to do so. Sanity versus Lex in these final 30 seconds, and how will the rest of this round play out? Does he know he's in freezer? No, he does not. And the round is won by Sanity.
Seems like some miscommunication there. No info known by the side of Plague there, and it's quite unfortunate to see as we saw them. We saw obviously Blue Jays have such a nice entry there, playing the Ying, pushing in, finding these picks, and it started to get brought even. And I started to think, you know what, Plague might win this. And then we were very much proven wrong, as he just did not know about Sanity's location in freezer, which I don't know if he's deaf or what, but quite unfortunate, I must say. But anyway, match point now for the side of Blue Jays, 6-3. As now we're going to be seeing the side of Plague go back to that basement site, try to pick up the round. They're bringing, this time around, they're bringing the Warden, of course, to counter this Ying, and also, well, any other flashbangs, anything, all that shebang, basically. So, Warden, I wouldn't really say he's a widely picked operator in competitive play. I mean, he's very, very situational. And I mean, this situation is one of those moments where I'd say, yeah, it's okay to bring him. You might get some use out of him. But I mean, again, not really got the strongest kit. He's got the MPX, yes, with a 1.5, but again, that gun is a pea shooter. You've got to be hitting your headshots.
It depends where you're playing, because obviously you need to be able to play in the area where the Ying is going to be coming from. We know the Ying obviously dropped towards Pillar and Blue through that hatch in the round previously, but Warden, with his utility, and the gun, obviously, it's not very favoured at that close range. And you want to be able to play these longer range, well, not necessarily longer range, but angles that aren't going to be misfavoured with you. If you see a run, not go to...
Quite unfortunate there, I must say.
Yeah.
Already losing one of your members, especially when you're on match point. Well, one ran away from losing this game, and it seems like he wanted to get an early pick to maybe pull his team back into this. It's not going to be the case, of course, and 30 seconds in, you've already lost one member. Of course, it's Jaeger. Not much utility there that can be used, but it's a man nevertheless, and an angle that they can hold nevertheless, but the T4 is going to go out, not managing to find anyone just yet. Dan's going to be taking quite a hefty chunk of damage there as he's now playing on these tower stairs, waiting for someone to peek him on pillar. Seems like someone is going to peek. He's not managed to find the pick just yet. Still, though, holding adamant, holding stoic at this angle. The Yin Candelas are going to start to make their way through, and there we go. We're seeing the Warden glasses get used. Can he manage to find the player pushing down? But no, he's going to get taken out by the Ying. He's playing the shotgun. Frag Grenade finds another one, and all of a sudden it's a 5 versus 2. Kane is now alone inside of the site. He finds a spray onto the one, but he's still got 4 more members to find. The diffuser can still be planted as well. They don't know his location, however, so they're going to be just hunting him at this point. It seems like they're going to be going for the frag. He finds one, but nothing more can be found from there, and Blue Jays take this game 7-3.
Exactly, they flood straight in through Pillar, they fled in straight through down the hatch, they've managed to get control of Blue as well. They just take apart that defense, and I think that essentially Plague weren't very aware of the fact that they could have been rushed through that situation, and the fact that it was brought out in the last round. Obviously, we did see quick play from the Ying that previous round, but especially bringing the shotgun as well, they weren't aware that that rush was possible. Even bringing the Warden to be able to counter that, and it just did not go well. But we see Blue Jays win yet another game. I believe that takes them up to 29 points in the Starlex, and that it does mean that they are in first place. Unfortunate for Plague, they still remain at around 9 points, I believe. They'll probably still be in sixth place in the league. And well, yeah, I think that it was an expected outcome, but Plague did actually put up a fight towards the beginning and the middle of the game. But at the end, especially those final 2 rounds on the basement, I think that Blue Jays showed they had a better understanding of the map. Despite obviously their strategic weaknesses on the defense, they knew how to take apart the Plague defense.
Yeah, 100%. It just, at the end of the day, they were the better team. They made some mistakes during the start, but in the end, they managed to take the victory nevertheless. And, I mean, they sort of knew they were going to win, I'd say, towards the end of that game, bringing the shotgun on the Ying.
You see, it's very, not necessarily a mean play, but I think that whilst it did favour him, obviously he managed to get a kill with that, and also the pistol as well that he managed to pull out while everyone else was flash inside of Pillar. But yeah, I think that they did know that they could win by the time they'd managed to get to that point. Obviously, they got somewhat, not necessarily frustrated in the early part of that game, but essentially Plague managed to find those weaknesses that Blue Jays had on the defense in the early part of the game. But they managed to get through it, and yeah, it was a good game.
It was a good game indeed. I mean, one thing that I have to bring up is, who is your MVP of that game?
I think that many players on Blue Jays did have a good game, a very good game. I think that Sanity, especially with some of the clutches as well, and also the relevance of him throughout the rounds, very impactful kills that he managed to get throughout the game. Dent, obviously I think he's a little bit of an IGL in terms of how they play, but he wasn't super impactful. Siri and Chep, they did do quite well, but I think that Sanity would probably be my pick for an MVP.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. He was the outlier of the team. He just shone far above to the rest of them. Of course, playing as a team, of course. He couldn't have done it without the rest of them, but as a player, he's definitely done the best of that game, of course. And, well, the scoreboard shows. Yeah,
exactly. I think that some closing remarks in terms of Blue Jays, obviously, whilst we've seen another convincing performance out of them in terms of managing to win without much struggle, no overtimes or anything like that has been gone to, there are strategic weaknesses that they have to pick up on in terms of how they've been playing on Oregon, with not enough rotates being made on the first floor for their second floor defenses, being one big one, and also their tertiary bomb site as well not being as convincing of a defense. They were very good on basement, though. I will give them that credit. They knew how to attack it and they knew how to defend it as well. However, the other two bomb sites, I'd say, not necessarily a revisit, but just a restructuring of how they are approaching the bomb site and how they're actually playing it throughout the games. And I think for Plague as well, their defenses weren't necessarily coherent. I think that they were playing a little bit better on the roam than Blue Jays were. Obviously, with Plague having very, very efficient flanks from Lex as well in that penultimate round. I think that they just need to work a little bit on their attack and their coherence just throughout the overall part of the game.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. What I've really picked up on then is when Plague weren't playing as aggressively, it seems like they just started to fall apart. So maybe their teamwork, their coordination isn't as strong as Blue Jays, as that game has now shown us on Oregon. I mean, you know what? It's bad to say, I'm quite happy the game's over because I hate Oregon. Can we just agree? It's a boring map.
It's not a fantastic map. I would have much rather seen Theme Park, which was the one that's taken away just before. I think we were expecting like a map that wasn't necessarily that Oregon Club or other bands that normally come out from Blue Jays and Plague, but we did see Oregon State. It was a good game in terms of how Blue Jays essentially just showed off. Well, not necessarily showed off because they did have some elements of struggle, but it was fun to see how teams at this level, and especially in Starlex, do approach this map. And yeah, it ended somewhat convincingly for Blue Jays, but I think that the small snippets that Plague showed where they were a bit more competent in terms of how they approach the map and the gunplay. Did show some elements of fun to Oregon, but we don't want to see it again.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, I can go at least a month without seeing Oregon again. That's not going to be the case. Everyone knows this. Next game is going to be Oregon. Like the next has to do, it's guaranteed Oregon. I'm saying it now. But anyway, I do think that is it for us now. If everything has been said, well, it has been for me anyway. So if you've got any closing remarks, then please do say them now.
Well, I think I've already made some of my thoughts clear for both teams, but I think that we need to outline what's happening next in Stylex. There's going to be a game tomorrow, July 12th, Metisport versus Void, around 5 o'clock, if we're taking that from British summertime. And on July 13th, there are hopefully going to be 3 games to have your enjoyment fulfilled by. Hopefully no Oregon in these next 4 games, but we're going to see some good stuff in the next few days for Stylex. So do please stick around and keep watching.
Yeah, and I mean, I actually can't wait for these games. I mean, I'd say especially my favourite one there is either the next Q2 game, because I just love that team, always have, or the next Blue Jays game. I want to see what they can now pull out next and see if they can continue the run that they're going for. But anyway, that has been it for the Stylex League today. I have been excellent alongside Cheesy. And
Well, yeah. Goodbye. Thank you very much for watching.